His hands are shaking. The whole world can see it. Muhammad Ali, the man who once moved like lightning, can barely control his own body. It's 1996, and Parkinson's disease has stolen his speed, his voice, his grace. But as he stands there holding the Olympic torch with trembling hands, he's about to prove that some victories have nothing to do with being perfect. This is the story of the night Muhammad Ali turned his greatest weakness into his greatest strength. July 19th, 1996, Atlanta, Georgia. The Summer Olympics are about to begin. The opening ceremony is the most watched event in television history. 3 billion people around the world are tuned in. For months, there have been rumors about who will light the Olympic torch. It's always a mystery until the final moment. Past torchlighters have been perfect specimens of human achievement. Young, strong, at the peak of their powers. But tonight is different. Muhammad Ali is 54 years old. It's been 15 years since his last fight. It's been 12 years since he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. The man who once called himself the greatest can barely speak above a whisper. The man who once floated like a butterfly now moves slowly, deliberately, every step requiring concentration. Most of the world hasn't seen Ali in years. They remember him as he was, young, fast, beautiful, invincible. They remember the man who could predict the round he would win, the man who danced around opponents twice his size, the man who seemed to defy the laws of physics. They don't know about the morning routine that now takes him 2 hours instead of 20 minutes. They don't know about the medication that helps but never completely stops the tremors. They don't know about the voice that sometimes fails him mid-sentence. They don't know that the greatest boxer of all time now struggles to button his shirt. But Ali knows, and when the Olympic Committee approached him about lighting the torch, everyone around him had the same reaction. Are you sure you want to do this? The whole world will be watching. What if something goes wrong? Ali's response was simple. I'm not the same man I used to be, but I'm still here. The ceremony begins. For 2 hours, the world watches a spectacular show. Dancers, musicians, athletes from 197 countries. Everything is perfect, choreographed to the second. But the biggest moment is still coming. As the ceremony nears its end, the Olympic torch begins its final journey. It's passed from athlete to athlete, each one representing excellence, achievement, the pinnacle of human performance. The torch reaches the stadium. The crowd of 85,000 people is on their feet. 3 billion people around the world are watching their televisions, waiting to see who will have the honor of lighting the Olympic flame. Then, from the shadows, a figure emerges. At first, people aren't sure who it is. The man is moving slowly, carefully. He's wearing a white tracksuit. His movements are deliberate, uncertain. Then the cameras zoom in, and the world gasps. It's Muhammad Ali. But this isn't the Ali they remember. This isn't the young, confident champion who once proclaimed himself the greatest. This is an older man, clearly struggling with every step. The crowd's cheers turn to something else, not quite silence, but a different kind of sound. Concern, maybe, uncertainty. Ali takes the torch from the previous runner. His hands are visibly shaking. The flame wavers as he tries to hold it steady. For a moment, it looks like he might drop it. 3 billion people hold their breath. Ali begins to climb the stairs to the Olympic cauldron. Each step is a struggle. His left hand grips the railing, while his right hand holds the torch. The Parkinson's makes every movement unpredictable. Step by step, he climbs. The crowd watches in complete silence now. This isn't what they expected. This isn't the perfect, choreographed moment they're used to seeing at the Olympics. This is real. This is raw. This is a man fighting his own body in front of the entire world. Halfway up the stairs, Ali pauses. The torch is shaking more violently now. Some people in the crowd start to worry. What if he can't make it? What if this was a mistake? But Ali doesn't stop. He doesn't ask for help. He doesn't give up. He continues climbing. With each step, something begins to change in the stadium. The silence transforms into something else. People start to understand what they're witnessing. This isn't a broken man struggling to complete a task. This is a warrior refusing to surrender. This isn't weakness on display. This is strength in its purest form. Ali reaches the top of the platform. The Olympic cauldron stands before him, waiting to be lit. His hands are still shaking, but his eyes are focused, determined. He extends the torch toward the cauldron. For a moment, the flame wavers, and it looks like it might not reach. The whole world watches, willing him to succeed. Then, the flame catches. The Olympic fire erupts into the night sky, and 85,000 people explode in the loudest cheer in Olympic history. But something else happens in that moment. Something that goes beyond sports, beyond the Olympics, beyond anything that can be measured or timed. In that moment, Muhammad Ali transforms from a former champion struggling with disease into something much more powerful, a symbol of human resilience. The crowd doesn't stop cheering. They're not just cheering for the lighting of the torch. They're cheering for something deeper. They're cheering for every person who has ever been told they're finished. Every person who has ever been written off. Every person who has ever had to face their own limitations and choose to keep going anyway. In the press box, hardened sports reporters are wiping tears from their eyes. In living rooms around the world, families are hugging each other. In hospitals and nursing homes, people who thought their best days were behind them are feeling something they hadn't felt in years: hope. Ali stands at the top of the platform, the Olympic flame burning behind him. His hands are still shaking, but he's smiling. Not the confident, cocky smile of his youth, but something deeper, the smile of a man who has learned that true strength isn't about being perfect. Later, reporters will ask him how it felt to light the torch with Parkinson's disease. Ali's response is simple. The torch was shaking, but it still lit the fire. That night, something changes in how the world sees disability, aging, and human limitation. Ali doesn't hide his condition. He doesn't pretend to be something he's not. He shows up exactly as he is, imperfect, struggling, but undefeated. The 1996 Olympics torchlighting becomes one of the most replayed moments in television history. But it's not replayed because it was perfect. It's replayed because it was real. Ali's trembling hands become a symbol of courage for millions of people around the world. People with Parkinson's disease see that their condition doesn't define their worth. Elderly people see that their best moments don't have to be behind them. Anyone facing any kind of struggle sees that weakness can be transformed into strength. The moment changes Ali too. For years, he had been reluctant to appear in public because of his condition. He was embarrassed by the way Parkinson's had changed him. But after the Olympics, he realizes that his struggle can inspire others. He begins making more public appearances. He starts a foundation to help people with Parkinson's disease. He shows the world that being vulnerable isn't the same as being weak. The man who once said, "I am the greatest," learns to say something even more powerful. "I am still here." So let me ask you something. What are your shaking hands? What is the thing about yourself that you try to hide? What is the weakness you're embarrassed about? What is the limitation you think disqualifies you from greatness? Muhammad Ali could have stayed home that night. He could have said, "I'm not the man I used to be. People will see my hands shaking. They'll see that I'm not perfect anymore." Instead, he chose to show up exactly as he was, imperfect, struggling, but undefeated. And in doing so, he taught the world the most important lesson about strength. True strength isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up anyway. Your shaking hands, whatever they are, don't disqualify you from greatness. They might actually be the very thing that makes you great. Think about it. If Ali had lit that torch with steady hands, it would have been just another Olympic moment. Beautiful, but forgettable. Instead, because his hands were shaking, it became one of the most powerful moments in human history. Your struggles, your limitations, your imperfections, they're not bugs in your system. They might be features. The lesson is this: your greatest weakness can become your greatest strength, but only if you're brave enough to show it to the world. Every day, you have a choice. You can hide your struggles, pretend to be perfect, wait until you're ready to show up. Or you can do what Ali did. Show up exactly as you are and let your imperfections become your inspiration. Look around you. The world is full of people who are struggling with their own shaking hands. They need to see that it's possible to be imperfect and still be great. They need to see that weakness can be transformed into strength. You don't need to be perfect to make a difference. You just need to be real. Remember, the torch was shaking, but it still lit the fire. Your hands might be shaking too, but you can still light the fire. You can still inspire others. You can still be great, not in spite of your struggles, but because of them. One story, one lesson. Stay strong.